Rancangan ini akan menekankan peranan Malaysia dalam memelihara keamanan dan memajukan penyidikan saintifik dan tadbir urus di Antartika. Untuk itu, dipersilakan moderator dan para panelis untuk mengambil tempat di atas pentas.
Ampun Tuanku, menghadap ke bawah duli Yang Maha Mulia, Al-Watiku Billah Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin, Ibni Almarhum Sultan Mahmud Al-Muktafi Billah Shah, Sultan dan Yang Dipertuan bagi negeri Terengganu Darul Iman serta segala jajahan takluknya. Ampun Tuanku. Patik Profesor Madya Dr. Zuraida Ali sebagai moderator untuk majlis forum hari ini menjunjung duli dan menjunjung kasih atas limpah perkenan Tuanku berangkat pada petang ini. Patik mohon perkenan untuk memulakan forum pada petang ini dalam bahasa Inggeris. Ampun Tuanku. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Antarctica Day Forum today with the theme Peace, Science and Sustainability, Malaysia's Role in Antarctica. I'm Associate Professor Dr. Zuraida Ali from University Tenaga Nasional, and I will be your moderator for this auspicious event. Now let me proceed with introduction to our four panelists for this forum. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to Professor Paul Arthur Berkman, online from Boston, USA. Be your moderator for this auspicious event. Now let me proceed with introduction to our four panelists for this forum. Ladies and gentlemen, hang on. Please give a round of applause to Professor Paul Arthur Berkman, online from Boston, USA. Be your moderator for this auspicious event.
Happy
Now let me
Antarctica Day.
proceed with introduction to our four panelists for this forum. Well, that's Professor Paul online on the screen. Professor Paul is a world-leading expert in science diplomacy and Antarctic
everybody.
governance.
Happy Antarctica Day.
With introduction to our four panelists. He was the co-chair of the 2009 Antarctic Treaty Summit. His work during the summit inspired the establishment of Antarctica Day, which is celebrated each year on 1st of December. Professor Paul advocates for peaceful international cooperation through science. Next is Professor Emeritus Datuk Dr. Azizan Abu Sama. He is Malaysia's pioneer in polar and Antarctic research, also the former director of the National Antarctic Research Centre, NARC, University Malaya. He is a leading expert in meteorology and polar climate. Professor Emeritus Dato Dr. Azizan is the key figure who enabled Malaysia's early Antarctic expeditions and built the foundation for Malaysia's polar research development. Also on board is Associate Professor Dr. Japaring Lalung, an environmental microbiologist with research on polar microbes and extreme environments. He was the participant in British Antarctic Survey BAS research expeditions. Associate Professor Dr. Japaring Lalung represents the new generation of Malaysian polar scientists who demonstrate how researchers from non-Antarctic backgrounds can profoundly enter polar science. Especially for today, to represent our youth, we have in the panel Mr. Sanjeev Kumar Subramaniam, a youth spokesperson in polar education and outreach who works to bring Antarctic knowledge into Malaysian schools and communities. He is an active member of Polar Educators International, or PEI, and the Association of Polar Early Career Scientists, APACS. Mr. Sanjeev Kumar signifies the role of youth in shaping future polar awareness and sustainability. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm also proud to announce that we are live on YPASM YouTube and cross-post on Unitan Facebook. Our online audience consists of directors, representatives from international polar institutions, as well as 12 local universities with at least 100 undergraduates each. Please now join me in welcoming our online guests, beginning with University Kebangsaan Malaysia. Can we have University Kebangsaan Malaysia perhaps online on the screen? In welcoming our online guests. Okay, maybe I will run through the list. University Malaya. University Technology Malaysia. University Malaysia Sabah, University Science Malaysia, University Sultan Zainal Abidin, University Malaysia Pahang Al Sultan Abdullah, University Technology Mara, University Malaysia Terengganu, International Medical University, University Malaysia Kelantan. I believe we have managed to highlight the universities. And right here, ladies and gentlemen, in-house at Dewan Seri Sarjana, we have 100 undergraduates from Unitan, University Tenaga Nasional. Next, I would like to welcome our online guests from polar institutions. We're going to have them on screen, hopefully. First, Dr. Beatrice Schlapp-Ridley, Director of Innovation and Impact, also Professor Peter Convey from British Antarctic Survey, UK. Captain Osgun Okta, Vice Chair at the Council of Managers of National Antarctic Programs from TÜBİTAK Marmara Research Center, Polar Research Institute, Turkey. Dr. Evgen Diki, Director, and Dr. Andriy Fachuk from Head of International Scientific and Technical Cooperation Department, National Antarctic Scientific Center, Ukraine. We also have with us online Dr. Swati Nagar from National Center for Polar and Ocean Research, India. And finally, guests online includes Dr. Satoshi Imura from National Institute of Polar Science, Japan. Next, ladies and gentlemen, we will have a brief video showcase from 4 institutions together, namely Professor Martin J. Sigurd, Deputy Vice-Chancellor Cornwall from University of Exeter, UK, YPSM UMT Chair in Antarctic Science Holder, Dr. Hyung Chul Shin, President of the Korea Polar Research Institute, Dr. Shao Hebin, Station Director of the Great Wall Station Antarctica, Chinary, and researchers at the King Sejong Station, Capri. Are we gonna have the video?
Hello, my name is Martin Sigurd. I'm a Vice President at the University of Exeter in the UK and also a visiting professor at the University of Malaysia, Terengganu, and the Chair of Antarctic Science. And happy Antarctic Day. I'm sorry I can't be with you right now, but a few words about Antarctica and why it's so important. As you'll know, Antarctica is an amazing continent, but it is changing, and that change is going to affect the whole world. And because of that, it's the whole world that needs to draw its attention to Antarctica to understand the problems that it faces and to try to solve them together. International cooperation is vital for that endeavour, and it's so pleasing to help Malaysia in that way. So I wish you a very good day today. Once again, sorry I can't be with you, but also happy Antarctic Day. Thank you.
Your Highness Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin, distinguished guests, scholars, friends and colleagues, on behalf of the Korea Polar Research Institute, I would like to extend my warmest congratulations on the celebration of Malaysia's Antarctica Day. I consider it a great fortune, personally, for me to have witnessed the remarkable growth of Malaysian Antarctic research from the early years. Malaysia's accession to the Antarctic Treaty was a significant step, and since then I have been very impressed by Malaysia's passion and strong commitment to Antarctica. This gathering is a clear reflection of Malaysia's dedication to advancing Antarctic science and strengthening international cooperation.
Hello, everyone. This is Hebin Shao, Director of China's Great Wall Station, which is one of the 3 permanent research stations of China in Antarctic. 2024 marks the celebration of the 40th anniversary of Chinese National Antarctic Research Expedition. And 2025, the Great Wall Station stands as both the very starting point and a significant milestone in the 40-year journey of China. My teammates and I have enjoyed the long, dark winter here and are now welcoming the most wonderful time of the year, the summer season, which is ideal for conducting scientific research. On behalf of China's Great Wall Station in Antarctica, I'd like to extend our warmest congratulations to Antarctic Day Forum. I'd like to wish you a successful forum in Malaysia, and someday in the future, I hope some of you would have possibilities to visit our Antarctic stations. Happy Antarctic Day!
Happy Antarctica Day!
We celebrate Malaysia's Antarctic Day from King Sejong Station in Antarctica.
May our collaboration continue to grow stronger for the future of Antarctica!
Thank you very much for the well wishes to all our representatives from 4 institutions. So before we proceed, ladies and gentlemen, let me ascertain that our esteemed panelists all the way from Boston, USA is online. Professor Paul, are you with us?
I'm
Thank you
honored
very
to be
much,
with you, yes.
For the well wishes to all our representatives from 4 institutions. I'm going to have echo every time. Bear with me. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, before we begin with the questions, let me remind you of our theme for today's forum, which is Peace, Science and Sustainability, Malaysia's Role in Antarctica. Now, without further ado, Professor Paul Arthur Bergman, let me start with this fundamental question. I have 2 questions, but first, Antarctica Day was born from an important global initiative that you helped to inspire. Can you tell us why it is important for Antarctica Day to be recognized formally at platforms like the ATCM, IPY, or even the UN? And how can Malaysia play a role in advancing this recognition? Over to you, Prof. Initiative that you
Thank
helped
you.
to inspire.
You've
Can
asked
you
me
tell
multiple
us
questions.
why
I
it
will
is
try and
important
answer
for
some of them.
Antarctica Day to be
First, let me say to
recognized
the
formally
students
at
in the
platforms
audience
like the
that
ATCM,
Antarctica
IPY,
Day
or even the UN?
was
And how
born
can Malaysia
from
play a role
a
in
time when I was
advancing
wintering
this
in Antarctica in
recognition? Over to you, Prof.
1981,
Initiative.
scuba
Thank you.
diving under the ice.
You've
Asked me multiple questions. I will try and answer some of them. First, let me say to the students in the audience that Antarctica Day was born
echo on this
from
side, so I'll turn off my
a time
hearing,
when
so I
I was
can't hear
wintering in
myself.
Antarctica in 1981.
For the students,
Scuba
when I was
diving under the
22,
ice every
I asked
other day.
myself,
Why did the United States and the Soviet Union cooperate continuously in Antarctica as well as outer space throughout the Cold War?
there's an
Despite the
echo on this side,
animosities
so
that
I'll turn
isolated
off my
these
hearing,
superpowers
so I can't hear
everywhere else, and that was in
For the
1981.
students, when I was 22,
continues to
I
this
asked
day.
myself, why
And
did
it's
the
an important
United
lesson
States
for the students
and the
to
Soviet Union
understand that you have
continuously in
intuition
Antarctica
as
and
well as outer
passion
space
can carry you
throughout the
through
Cold
a
War.
lifetime
Despite the
contributions.
animosities that isolated the Antarctic Treaty is the first nuclear arms agreement created by humanity at the height of the Cold War. Continues to this
Following
day.
the
And it's an
International
important lesson for
Geophysical
the
Year
students to
1957,
understand that you
58.
have intuition. That International
And
Geophysical
passion
Year
can carry you through
enabled
a lifetime
the world to
of
see
contribution.
how science, the
can be
Antarctic
used
Treaty
as a
is the
tool
first nuclear arms
of
agreement created by humanity.
And that
at the height of the
diplomacy
Cold War,
enabled the United States
following
and the Soviet
the International
Union
Geophysical Year
on December 1st,
1959,
which is
that
celebrated
International
as Antarctica
Geophysical Year
to create the
enabled
first nuclear
the
arms
world to
agreement
see
with the
how
interests of
science
science
could be used
progress
as a
of
tool
all mankind
of diplomacy.
that
contribution
diplomacy enabled
resonates
the United States
today
and the Soviet
in
Union
terms of strategy
on December 1st,
of how we
1959,
operate planetary celebrated as Antarctica. The
The
Antarctic Treaty was
create the
crafted
first
based
nuclear
on
arms
matters
agreement
with
of
the
common
interests of
interest
science. And if we think of
progress
the world
of all
today and the
mankind.
challenges we face
That
as a globally interconnected
contribution
civilization resonates matters of common interest will carry us through the 21st century of how we operate on a planetary scale. And so the Antarctic Treaty was crafted based on 22 matters of common interest, has grown. Think of the world today and the challenges we face something that is globally interconnected, and it's truly an honor. Matters of common interest will carry us through the 21st century.
Paul, can you hear me, Paul? Can
And
you
it's
hear me?
truly an honor as well as pleasure to be speaking with His Highness Sultan Mizan in the audience and to share with colleagues and friends in Malaysia another Antarctica Day. So I leave it to you for the next question, please. And it's truly an
Thank you,
honor.
Prof. Sorry, just now we had echo in the hall, but now I think it's getting better. So my second question for you, Prof. Paul. As you put it, Antarctica demonstrates how science can build peace and cooperation globally. For your information, in front of all of us today, we have a huge crowd of youths as audience. We also have some more youths online from 12 Malaysian universities. Perhaps, Prof, you could explain why young people should care about science diplomacy today and what opportunities does it create for them to contribute to a more sustainable world?
Again, the lessons emerged from the passion and intuition of a young scientist. and thinking about how science diplomacy operates. It's a process, an international, interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary, but inclusive across who, what, when, where, why, and how. It's a process involving informed decisions to think short to long term across urgencies that exist at a security timescale, as well as across generations, and ultimately for the benefit of all on Earth across generations. But it's more than just a definition. Science diplomacy is a process that individuals can apply in their daily lives, as even at the level of families, all the way to the level of our globally interconnected civilization. And it is this ability to operate with dialogues among allies and adversaries alike at subnational, national, and international levels that is the future of science diplomacy and its contribution to humanity. Before, through, after, whatever inflection points lie ahead, the Antarctic Treaty has introduced to humanity, without ambiguity, the capacity of our globally interconnected civilization, even at the height of the most difficult period in the Cold War, among two superpower adversaries. It enabled dialogue, which led to something that is enduring in terms of its contribution to humankind. And we're just at the beginning still of the 21st century. And if we think about the context of the Antarctic Treaty, there was a quote in 1960 at the ratification hearings in the United States Senate, and they talked about the comparison of the Antarctic Treaty at international levels like the relevance of the Magna Carta at national levels. If we think about it, the Magna Carta stimulated the development of constitutions and democracy around the world for 1,000 years, from 1215 to the present. And the challenges that we face are no longer across years and decades. On a planetary scale, our challenges are across decades and centuries. And this is where we are in terms of our progress. And it is the next generation leaders, those of you who are in the audience, that will carry the flame forward in terms of hope and inspiration for future generations.
Great, Prof. Thank you. That's a very meaningful advice to our youth today. Also, I was just wondering, because I know that you've got a book, a compilation of pictures drawn by children. Would you like to share it with us? Is it possible?
Yeah, I can share it. If I have the ability to share a screen, but there was a compilation of books called Celebrating Antarctica that was produced in collaboration with Polar Educators International and other organizations that were still being born at that time. The book has been translated into 24 languages. It was illustrated by children, fourth graders, their impressions of Antarctica. So if I can share screen, I will be honored to. Sharing is not turned on. So I'm unable to share screen, but the book is called Celebrating Antarctica. I cordially invite anybody to send me a message. The organizers can provide my details, or just look online for my email address. I will be happy to send you a link to the books, which are freely available and are circulated around the world.
Thank you, Prof. Well, I'd like to just say to the audience today that Prof. Paul has actually successfully produced a book, a compilation of pictures, right? Yeah, which bears the essence of Antarctica celebration, and I think it's a good transition for the youth today to pick up. Right. Thank you, Professor Paul, for your deep sharing, and we shall definitely catch up with you in the Q&A later. Now, picking up from Professor Paul's advocacy on science diplomacy and recognition of Antarctica Day, I shall pass the baton to Professor Emeritus Dr. Azizan Abu Sama. I will have two questions, and my first question is, Prof, could you share Malaysia's journey in Antarctic research and why it remains important for us to maintain a scientific footprint in Antarctica today.
Thank you, Zhu. I think we have to go to 1982 when we got the question of Antarctica by the Prime Minister then. And that was when we, a small country, questioned the Antarctic Treaty system, and we questioned on its exclusivity, and we were pushing that Antarctica should be the heritage, a global heritage of mankind. And I think because of that, of the question of Antarctica, Malaysia was offered to do some research in Antarctic in 1996 by the Antarctica, New Zealand. And this is a member of the ATS. So maybe there is a geopolitical interest for them to embark on, for Malaysia to go into Antarctic. Now, what happened is that Cabinet then decided that Malaysia should embark on Antarctic research in the field of climate change and in the field of biodiversity. So these are the two areas that was tasked at the Academy Science, Malaysia, and the task force was set up. Now, any uptake of the challenge will depend on the scientists. I think in the late, as early as in 1985, Tan Sri Omar already suggested that we have research in the Antarctic, but the uptake from the science community wasn't there. So in 1996, when the task force was established, chaired by Tan Sri Saleh, we were given the task of initiating. And I would really say that that was at the right time that the Malaysian scientists were keen in embarking on Antarctic research. And the nice thing about Antarctic research, if you study the number of people going to the Antarctic, actually we are underrepresented. It's more represented by the female scientists than the male scientists. And it is also, to me, a testimony on the adventurousness of our female scientists. And I would really salute their courage, because some of them are just master students, no Spanish, haven't been outside of the country at all. But these girls were willing to take the risk and go. And I really salute the pioneers, especially. I think that make it happen, because it's no point in having a program or research, but nobody taking it up. And I think, and as I said, I really salute our female scientists, because they were willing, majority, to take up the research.
Can clap to this.
So now the question is, where do we want to go? Because I think the main thing that we want to do, we just don't want to be followers. We also want to lead. And what we established, two areas. One is what you call how the tropics and in terms of microbiology, what are the topics, how does the tropic microbes and the mid-latitude and the polar microbe, what are the differences, what are the commonalities in terms of adaptation. So we went into microbial. And in terms of climate, we went and lead in SCAR, the Tropical Antarctic Teleconnection. That is a Malaysian-led initiative in SCAR, that we focus on how the polar region impact on the tropics, and vice versa, how does the tropic impact on the climate of the Arctic and the Antarctic. So that is our leadership that we established in what you call in the scientific community. And I'm really happy to see now, Dr. Shiba Chinoli being appointed the lead author for Chapter 4 of the IPCC, which I think is an honor, because not many Malaysians even get to be lead author, except I think in terms of working group through, we have Prof. Joy Pereira, who is in the adaptation. But this is not in adaptation, this is in the fundamental science. And it's an honor, and I think it's a privilege that Shiba managed to be elected to be the lead author for Chapter 4 of IPCC, which is really a great achievement. And this is because of TATE, the Tropical Antarctic Teleconnection, which she chairs, and which we initiated in SCAR 2016. So this is some of the, what we call, it does show that our scientists can do global science. Our scientists are there. They can do the cutting edge. Give the chance. And I think this is something that we should be proud of. We are not, let's say, second fiddle. We are taking the lead. And in some areas, we are the one driving the, what you call, the knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. I think this is eye-opening. Yeah? So we are not only talking about contribution, but also leadership. Malaysia has been playing a leadership role in Antarctic research. Great. And now we move on to your passion. So, Professor, we know that you're passionate and most concerned about the importance of global and international science on the issue of climate change. Perhaps you can share some related highlights. And looking ahead, perhaps, what more should Malaysian scientists contribute or lead to strengthen our impact and relevance in Antarctic research?
Okay. I think what we are seeing now is climate change impacting on many aspects. And one of the main things about climate change, it can throw something out of not your expectation. And I think that where the change is going to be complex, and what is going to happen is already locked in. As an example, I think Professor Martin Sigurd will agree with me. The melting of the ice is already locked in. It's just how much. And that has an implication in terms of the salinity. It has implication in terms of the gyres, the deep sea, the deep water circulation. It can control the productivity of the tropic because of the upwelling. And when we see, let's say, the Arctic warming up, it also then control our monsoon. And we published the first paper that shows how sea ice in the Antarctic control the monsoon, the Indian monsoon. And this is the first paper that we published in Polar Science and also in Antarctic Dynamics, which I think is really one of the reasons why Shiba is now in working group 4. So what I'm trying to say is that there are many, many things that's happening that will have an impact both in the atmosphere and in the ocean. And I don't think that we should be the spectator, because one of the things that I found is that if I'm UK, I'm very keen on what's going to happen in the UK. And my grant will give me research to talk about what's happening in the UK. But if I'm here in Malaysia, I'm more keen in what's happening in our region, what is going to be there, because I'm focused in trying to solve our regional problem, not trying to solve what is UK happening. So what I'm trying to say is that it is important that the local scientists get involved with the global problem, because it will then bring a different perspective to the issue. As I said, Tate, when you talk about the scientists that's working prior to Tate, most of them are interested to see how does the tropic impact on Antarctic, how does it impact on the sea ice. We are the one that reverse the situation. We are more interested in what happened to the Antarctic and the polar region, how's that going to impact on our monsoon. And that perspective brings because our interest. So what I'm trying to say is very important. Even if you have local, you have global problem, you must have local person looking into it, because we have a different perspective than what someone in UK or someone in America has, because they are also looking to solve their problem. We are also looking to solve our problem. But the problem is global, but how we look at it is local. So I think this is one aspect that I would like to stress. Why is it important that local scientists look at global problem? Because we would then give it a very local value that is important to us, okay? So I think the next one that I think is Antarctic and polar science is always international science. And this is where is a good cross-pollination between your local knowledge with the global community. And it opens up to the younger set to look into a problem not only from the kampung, but to look at how does that impact on the rest of the world and vice versa. How does the world impact on my kampung? I think that's what I'm...
Thank you. Thank you, Prof. This is a very impactful message. Perhaps next year we can have double the number of grants. Okay, more research, more people here are inspired to apply for the grant, me included. Right, next I'm sure somewhere in the audience, people wonder if there exist opportunities for non-Antarctic backgrounds to join the polar science community. To convince and furnish you with details, here are two short questions to our third panelist, Associate Professor Dr. Japaring Lalung, or we call him Dr. Jep. Right, so Dr. Jep, your academic journey did not begin with Antarctic science, yet you are now deeply involved in polar microbial research. What sparked your passion and transition into this field?
Thank you so much for the question, Ampun Tuanku. I think in life, to make us happy, we need purpose. And I think we use all of our tools to meet the purpose that we want. These tools include time, health, opportunity, and ability or knowledge to do what we want. Because I think without purpose, then life is going to be quite difficult. So for me, one of my purpose is actually to make a bit of impact if I can, and also to see the world. And I think in Malaysia we're very lucky because this Antarctic research can actually provide us with both. And I think we're very lucky because Tuanku and our seniors have paved the way to do Antarctic research, so it's going to be quite easy for us to just continue the legacy that they have provided for us. So when I first, before I come back to work at the School of Industrial Technology, University of Science Malaysia, I looked at the, the professors and the big figure in the university whom inspire me, and hopefully I can work together with them. And one of them was Professor Nazalan, and I was so happened to be a representative of the Dean in Aviva, and he was the chairperson. And when he introduced himself to me, and I told him that I know him, and I told him that I know that he's actually involved with the Malaysian Antarctic Research Program in University of Science Malaysia. And so I made the effort to ask if I could join. And he bring me to the meeting with the Polar at USM. And since then, I recognized the people in USM. And at one day, out of the sudden, one of the researcher who was supposed to go to Antarctica couldn't make it because of a serious health problem. And then she asked me if I could replace her, like Prof. Azizan said, it's mostly girls. And then when she asked me if I could replace her, within seconds I said yes. And after that, I think back like, what did I just say yes? And what will I eat? how do I go there? Like, how about the temperature? How do I cope with that? And then, but I think, because people have done it before, Tuanku has done it, so it must be quite possible. Only then I started to do some research on what the experience might be, and it's actually quite possible. And I realized that we need to do personal safety training, we need to do first aid training. So, but then everything is actually provided because we work with British Antarctic Survey. They have more than 100 years experience. So after doing this research, I realized that it's actually quite possible. And since then, I started to encourage people that actually you can go to Antarctica. My first season was 2015, and I come back the next year in 2016. But that experience was definitely amazing. It's mind-blowing. I can see the world, the things that I've always been wanting to do, and also I hope I can make some impact. I brought back 3 kilos of samples, which was used by many researchers all over Malaysia, so I'm so happy with that. And my last trip, again, was 3 months in 2023. Do the same thing. I bring a lot of samples. When I write the grant, I wrote for one particular purpose, which is my own research on photosynthetic cyanobacteria, but I knew that the samples can also be used by other researchers, so I was so happy. And it is also an opportunity for me to work with outstanding scientists like Professor Peter Convey from the British Antarctic Survey at Cambridge. So when I tell people, like, my collaborator is actually Bas at Cambridge, they were like, wow. So this is a golden opportunity, and I think in life, it is not about having everything that we want, but making use of what we have. So the moment I see the opportunity, I grab it and seize it, and I'm happy that it's now going very well. I hope that answers the question. Thank you very much.
I think you've done more than just answer my question. I think you have Antarctic expedition has turned you into a motivator. Would you agree with me, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, and you know what? I've screened your profile. And you've got a book, a very nice pictures there also. So ladies and gentlemen, Tuanku, ladies and gentlemen, there's a surprise after this, right? Yeah, from Dr. Jab. So, but I must ask you a question. So, second question, what is your mission and vision? I know you mentioned it a bit just now, but specifically, what is your mission to inspire more Malaysians, particularly young researchers, to explore polar science?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. I think if I can give a clue, so I think I would say like now we are in 2025, so pictures speaks better than words. So if I can actually provide about, when I went to Antarctica the first time, I took about 15,000 pictures, and the second time, 2023, I took about 40,000. So I screen about maybe 40 of the good ones that I like, so I hope pictures can speak better than my words. So this, So these are Adelie penguin. Those are my colleague, Dr. Felix, my doctor when I was going out, the iceberg. It's simply beautiful. We were attacked by skuas, and you can see this iceberg. It's about minus 30 degrees Celsius. The wave with ice, this is evaporating iceberg when we leave, and this is I was trying to use Ski-Doo. I was very happy with that. The sunrise on the crack is amazing. This is the beneath of the iceberg, and I was collecting some algae sample from probably a few thousand years ago. The plane that we took off with, and Sir David Attenborough, the new research ship, the Antarctic Special Protection Area that we can explore, the place where we sleep at night, and driving Ski-Doo. This is just for show, by the way. When we're really riding, we cannot. The airport, you can see the two lights, and piston bully among very little people who can actually go use that. Our hut, and you can see humpback whales. And this is the steps of my colleague and the iceberg. It's simply amazing and simply beautiful, so I encourage you. This is 30 seconds only, because it's going to be, yeah, that was me.
That's you in Baju Kurung.
Baju Melayu.
Baju Melayu, yeah.
Yeah, that's for about 30 seconds because it was very cool. And I've got a chance to drive this Volvo only in Antarctica. So I encourage all the young ones, if you really can, I think we're very lucky being Malaysian in Southeast Asia, we can, and if you look at the grants and the fellowship provided by yeah, Pasam, it is possible. So I really think you should take the chance because it's just mind-blowing. I actually wrote it in my book. The title is "My Eyes Were Out on Stock." It means like I was like just like that, because it's simply amazing. And I'm writing a new book now called "Making Haze While the Sun Shines in Antarctica." It doesn't make sense, but I think, although it doesn't sounds like it makes sense, but you can create an opportunity and a chance. I think it's possible. We're very lucky to be in Malaysia.
What amazing thing did you hear in Antarctica? Because your first book is about what you see. By right, the second book should be what you hear. What did you hear?
Yes, I think the most amazing thing that I heard is when the ice break, the ice break crack. And it's like thunder for like probably 1 or 2 minutes. Because in some part of Antarctica that I went, there is no sound, no life, nothing. So it was basically silence. And sometimes I like to go there and make a reflection about myself or about life or what I think about life. I think it's very nice. No sound, nothing. And suddenly the ice break. You can hear thunder and crack, bang, bang, bang, bang, bang, bang. And I think
Bang, bang.
yeah,
Okay,
that's simply
thank you.
amazing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think that was very vivid, vivid imagery, and I'm very sure people are more and more inspired every other minute here in this hall. Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Japaring Lalung. And now let's hear it from our young polar scientist, Mr. Sanjeev Kumar Subramaniam, about apex and PEI. I have 2 questions, but because we have time constraint, can I just merge the 2 questions? Okay, so my first question, apex will play an important role during the upcoming International Polar Year. What contributions can apex Malaysia bring to the global effort? And question number 2, what about PEI? How can education and outreach strengthen Antarctic awareness and inspire Malaysians? Over to you.
Thank you, Professor. Ampun Tuanku. So I think before I start to answer that question, similar to Prof. Jap, I was trained in tropical ecosystem. So I had no idea what Antarctic was until I started to do my master's. And I benefited from the grant funding provided by YPASM and also the resources and researchers from National Antarctic Research Center. So when I started, that's when I realized, we do have a National Antarctic Research Center. We do have polar researchers. We do have a network of researchers and educators and postgraduate students who are working on Antarctic, who have been to Antarctic. I haven't had the privilege to go there. So it's in the bucket list, definitely. So we have all of this capacity. We have the resources. So what is stopping us? What is stopping us? So that is the creation of Apex Malaysia, actually. So with Apex Malaysia, we hope to create greater capacity of Malaysian youth who are more informed about polar. So this year we got about 72 grants. So if all these youth, those here, those joining us, we never know, it could be possible in the next 5 years you might get 720 applicants. Yeah? So that would be the capacity that Apex can build in terms of polar literacy and also making Malaysian youth more informed about polar. And I think the second question would be more towards polar education. So that, I think, really comes into, it circles a little bit back to my first answer to the first question. We have researchers, we have postgraduate students. I've not been to Antarctica, so do I just sit here and wait? Okay, maybe the day I come back from Antarctica and then, I get to talk about polar. No, it starts now. So every youth, you feel inspired, and there's nothing stopping us. Social media, and the internet, we are more connected. So it is our prerogative, our imperative to actually understand, as a Malaysian, what connects us to Antarctica. Why should we care? Why is Malaysia investing so much in Antarctica? And that starts with knowledge. So with Polar Educators International and Polar Educators Malaysia initiative, we hope to actually touch the heart of more educators, more students, so that every child understands that although Malaysia, this is home, we have a connection to Antarctica. So hopefully in the future we have more leaders and scientists and youth who care about Antarctica. Yeah. So that is my answer to both of the questions. Thank you.
Great. I feel you, and I join your prayers so that we have even more researchers than today. And I would like to just share good news, because we also have researchers from Bharati Research Station in Antarctica online to join us. Wow, let's give everybody here a big hand for this amazing support. So thank you very much, Mr. Sanjeev and all our panelists. I'm sorry we have a very small window for questions, so perhaps we can have one burning question. Please raise your hand or quickly claim the microphone and give your name and institution. Also, please address the panelists whom you wish to direct your question. The session begins now with one limited question. Do we have any takers? Yes? No? Can I count to 3? Count down. 3, 2, 1. Seriously, no question? Okay, so perhaps to wrap up, what would be one word to inspire researchers or to wrap up the essence for today? Mr. Sanjeev, one word.
Probably not one word.
Okay.
But for me, Malaysia is home. That is hope.
Wow, he is deep. Okay. Malaysia is home, that is hope, definitely. I think I can connect very well to Prof Datuk's spirit of climate change, yeah? Okay, Prof Datuk, would you have 1 word, 2 words, 3 words, just to wrap up, yeah?
Oh, yeah. All I would say is that the world is interconnected. So whatever happened here will impact there. Whatever happened there will impact here. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Dato. Yeah, and Professor Paul, are you with us? One line from you, maybe. Great.
I am with you, and in the spirit of encouraging and seeking to inspire next generation leaders, I agree with Sanjeev 100%. The question is one of hope for humanity.
Perfect. You said it all. Thank you, Prof. Paul. And finally, our visual scientist. Yes.
Thank you so much. I would say Malaysia Boleh, definitely. Thank you so much.
I know you would say that. Okay, so thank you everybody for such wonderful cooperation. I appreciate your attention. But of course, before we end, the organizing committee has prepared a special video from the Polar Research Institute, TÜBİTAK MEM, Turkey. Can we have it now? Yes. So ladies and gentlemen, please now join me in giving a big hand to our renowned panelists who have dedicated their timeless day and night, heart and soul to polar research. As we draw the curtain to the Antarctica Day Forum, I leave you with some thoughts to ponder. It is said that science is the coinage and currency in Antarctica, quoting Roberts 2023. As much as this is true, we have learned today that there is more to the prerequisites To understand the southernmost continent and its connections to the rest of the world, strategic international cooperation is the answer. And Malaysia definitely has a significant role in this solution. Thank you for lending your ears. I'm Associate Professor Dr. Zuraida Ali, signing off for Antarctica Day Forum 2025. Ampun tuanku, sekian sahaja majlis forum pada petang ini. Patik sekali lagi menjunjung duli dan menjunjung kasih atas limpah perkenan tuanku mencemar duli berangkat ke majlis forum petang ini. Dengan ini, Patik menyerahkan majlis kepada pengacara majlis. Ampun tuanku, menjunjung kasih tuanku.
Pihak majlis merakamkan ucapan penghargaan dan terima kasih kepada para panelis dan moderator forum atas penyampaian forum sebentar tadi. Dipersilakan untuk kembali ke tempat yang disediakan. Ampun tuanku, dengan penuh takzimnya, dimaklumkan bahawa majlis ini telah hampir melabuhkan tirainya. Sejurus selepas ini, ke bawah duli yang maha mulia tuanku akan berkenan bercemar duli untuk melawat ke ruangan poster penerima geran penyelidikan sebelum menikmati santapan petang dan berangkat balik. Ampun tuanku. Majlis sekali lagi menjunjung duli dan menjunjung setinggi-tinggi kasih di atas limpah perkenan ke bawah duli yang maha mulia tuanku mencemar